This is the PickBits Daily Signal for Saturday, June 27th. 4 stories today, and they're all the same question from different angles. Who gets to build with frontier AI, who gets watched by it, and who gets a little protection from it? Each one we've flagged before: the AI review channel back in early June, the face scanning glasses on the 8th, the grid numbers in May, and this week, every one of them moved. 1. The government's AI review channel we've watched take shape since spring quietly turned into a gate, and both OpenAI and Anthropic shipped their newest models only to companies Washington signed off on. 2. Those face scanning glasses I warned you about back in June are now $299, and the first rulebook for them landed the same week. 3. The biometric consent fight we keep coming back to finally got a courtroom because a judge won't let Meta throw out a class action over your voice print. 4. The grid strain we put real numbers on in May is getting its first constructive answer, and it's cheap home batteries reaching the people getting squeezed the hardest. Let's get into it. This is the PickBits Daily Signal. Story 1. Okay, this one's been building since spring, so let me connect the dots for you. Back in early June, Trump signed an executive order telling federal agencies to stand up a voluntary review of frontier AI models before they ship. At the time, that read like oversight, a channel, not a choke point. This week, that channel became a gate. The White House let Anthropic switch its Mythos 5 model back on, but only for a hand-picked set of U.S. companies and government partners.
The White House has asked OpenAI to restrict the initial release of its latest model, GPT 5.6. Instead of a public rollout, the model is expected to be shared first with a small group of government-approved partners.
Both of the most advanced models in the country shipped under government-controlled access, and that is genuinely new. Here's why it lands on you. If your plan assumed you could just sign up for the best model the day it drops, that plan is broken. Federal sign-off is now a hard dependency in your stack. So this week, go look at what your roadmap is actually betting on. If it's day one access to a frontier model, build yourself a fallback now before the approval queue becomes your problem. Story 2. Remember on June 8th, I flagged that Meta had quietly shipped face scanning code, a feature called name tag, sitting dormant inside its app and waiting to be switched on? Here's what changed this week. Up to now, an always-on face camera meant buying Meta's pricier Ray-Ban smart glasses. This week, Meta launched its own line, no Ray-Ban branding, and undercut them at $299. That is a mass market price. Always-on AI face cameras for the cost of a decent pair of headphones. In the very same week, China put out the first real code of conduct for these things, written after people there got caught filming strangers on the street. So one side of the world is making the camera cheap, and the other is scrambling to write the rules, and they are moving at the same time. The rules are losing. If you run a clinic, a classroom, a courtroom, a meeting room, anywhere people reasonably expect they are not being recorded and identified, set your policy this week. Assume the next person who walks in wearing glasses can quietly put a name to every face in the room. Because now, for $299, they can. Story 3. We covered headway forcing facial scans on therapy patients, and Congress moving to make cloning your voice illegal without your say. This week, the fight got a courtroom. A judge refused to hand Meta a quick win in a class action over voice prints, the unique signature of your voice that the suit says Meta collected without the consent the law requires. Meta wanted the whole thing thrown out before trial. The judge said no, and it goes forward, and the ruling was actually filed under seal back on May 20th, so this has been moving quietly for over a month. Why it matters to you. This is the case that tests what consent even means for your biometrics, your face, your voice, your fingerprint. Not some privacy policy you scrolled past and tapped accept on. Actual consent. So save this one. The next time somebody tells you your voice print is harmless, it's just metadata, this is the case that says a court is willing to disagree. Story 4. And here's the one with some good news in it. Finally, back in May, I put a number on the grid problem for you. In PJM, the grid that serves 67 million people from the mid-Atlantic out to the Midwest, wholesale power prices jumped 76% in a single year, and the Federal Monitor pinned it on AI data centers piling onto the system. That's the strain. This week, the first answer aimed at regular people instead of data centers. A company called Base Power is putting cheap home batteries into houses in exactly those power-starved PJM areas. Not a luxury solar add-on for people with money, but storage as a basic resilience tool, dropped where the grid is worst.
Excess energy not used by the house gets stored by the battery, where it can be sent back to the power grid.
When it gets to about 80% or so, then it just starts dumping everything into the grid to help stabilize the grid.
So here's your move. If you are anywhere on a stressed grid, and if your bill jumped this summer, price out a home battery now while it's a plan and not a panic buy after the next outage. The grid is not getting less crowded. Your house can get a little more independent of it. 2 of them were about power being taken. Who's allowed to use the best AI, and who gets identified by a camera they never agreed to. 2 were about a little power handed back, a court testing whether your consent actually counts, and a battery that lets your house lean less on a strained grid. Telling those 2 apart every single day is the whole job here. That's the signal. I'll see you tomorrow.